Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging with me on this Saturday for another video. And if you went out of your way to like, comment, and subscribe, that helps me and the channel out a lot. So thank you guys for doing that. Now, this is pond fishing baits, but these are the same baits that are going to work if you have a school. Maybe they are summertime grouped up relating to current, or you just have one of those pre-spawn spots like a rocky point or a gravel bar. Maybe you have spotted bass that are spawning. These are the same techniques and the same baits, and this is where I learned how to catch these bass. But why a drop shot and a shaky head work so well in ponds is because anytime you have big fish grouped up, you want to finesse them. If you're not worried about little fish taking it before a big one can get it, you want to finesse them. And in a pond, bass are very territorial. They're going to eat the crappie. They're going to eat anything that poses a threat to them, and the little bass fall into this category. So it's always something finesse for me in the ponds. The drop shot works so well because you're typically going to have some type of scum or crabgrass growing on the bottom. That's just going to keep that bait off the bottom, keep it clean. And anytime I'm offshore fishing, I always like to have at least two baits. When they stop biting the drop shot, then I can go to the shaky head. And most of these ponds are dug deep. You know, if it's a pond for like a retention golf course, you know, something like that, or they dug the pond to build an overpass. Where I come from down in Florida, that's where most of the ponds are, how most of the ponds are created rather. So you're going to have deep holes. And if you dig one in your backyard, you want it to be deep. You want it to have, some water in it and to hold some water. So for that reason, you're going to have steeper banks. A shaky head shines on steeper banks. So if you're 20 yards away from your feet and it's in 20 feet of water right there, you want that bait to stay down to the bottom and get to the bottom quick. There's not many baits that do that better than a shaky head. Now, the reason I pick a lipless crankbait and a spinner bait is because you want baits that are going to be able to stay near the bottom in all depth ranges. So that kind of eliminates the crankbaits. A medium diving crankbait is designed for you to be in deep water, to throw shallow, and bait lands in 2 or 3 feet of water. You reel it down to the bottom. It stays near the bottom. If you're fishing a 45 or a 30-degree bank, it's going to stay near the bottom until you get it back to the boat. And pretty similar to a deep diving crankbait, you're going to throw it out, you're going to reel it down to a certain depth, and then it's going to go from, the bait is going to be coming back shallow to deep. Now, obviously, when you're fishing a pond, you are throwing your bait shallow to deep. So when your bait lands out in, hypothetically speaking, 25 feet of water, and you start reeling it down, most of your cast is not going to be in the strike zone. So crankbaits aren't effective pond baits. That's why I haven't chose those baits. But the baits that I do choose, the spinner bait and the lipless crankbait, it is all about throwing it out, counting it down, letting it get to the bottom, and then slow rolling it back. These are baits that are going to work in the windy days and the cloudy days and catch the more aggressive fish and help you cover water and locate fish. And then it's all about the drop shot and the shaky head. Now, one thing I will add here, if you have a bunch of submergent grass in your lake, milfoil, hydrilla, eelgrass, something like that, stick with the grass baits. Most grass fisheries, doesn't matter if it's a lake, river, or a pond, are fairly one-dimensional. So your chatterbaits, your crankbaits, your flukes and speedworms, stuff like that, your Texas rigs, that's going to work perfectly fine. This video with the shaky head, the drop shot, the lipless crankbait, and the spinnerbait is more for those ponds that don't have a whole lot of cover in them. But try those 4 baits. That's going to help you learn how to catch fish that are in a school, learn how to fish those pre-spawn, clean, rocky, shelly spots, and you can interchange those if you are good on those type places on your lakes and rivers. Go to a pond, have fun, catch some bass, try that. Good luck to you guys, and I'll see you on the water.